Never change who you are or anyone. Keep your heart and goal and because of you, the world will be a better place.
Huge playoff implications are on the line for the first Friday of October and the start of week 8 of the 8-man football season as the Christian Community School Colts on senior night collide to clinch the #1 seed against the playoff desperate Ezell-Harding Christian School Eagles on this Friday night in the Kingdom.com extreme game of the week. And instead of our regular camera, we welcome you in and say, welcome to everyone watching or listening around the world. I am Spencer Thompson alongside Brendan Daniel, proud to be with you here in the great city of White House, Tennessee. Well, for Christian Community, they sit at 2-1 in their in-division record. If they win tonight, clinch the #1 seed with tiebreakers in their head-to-head win over the South Haven Christian School Patriots. Meanwhile, for Ezell-Harding, 2-1, and they have a chance. They would clinch the #1 seed regardless of their matchup against Lighthouse Christian School Lions next week, as they are right now 2-0, chance to go 3-0. Meanwhile, for the Ezell-Harding Christian School Eagles, everyone knows about the struggles that they've had on the season. This is their last in-division matchup. A win tonight, they go to 3-1 and could potentially force a three-way coin flip if Lighthouse does not get the job done next week against the Colts. And Brendan, we look at both of these teams here, and on senior night, you can't have necessarily a better matchup for Christian Community School Colts, but there's more in the air than just senior night. They're trying to be able to win the #1 seed and get that first-round bye. What's it going to take for Christian Community to get the job done?
Well, it's going to take a lot of Will Adams. You know, the run-heavy play, they really need that to keep going, but they also need to put their young freshman quarterback into play as well in order to get that running back game going. And, of course, the sense of urgency. This is for the bye week. You want this. You want that week off so you guys can get ready for your next opponent in the playoffs.
And I tell you what, an interesting factor as well. Coach Dustin McGee told us before the game that several of their players are suspended for the first quarter due to several different reasons within the organization. So that could play as a huge factor for the Ezell-Harding Eagles, especially if their starters didn't name anybody. We'll, of course, know immediately when we see people out. But for the Eagles, at the end of the day, they're fighting for a chance to host a playoff game. They'd rather host it in Antioch, especially with that being the home of the championship for 2021. With everyone healthy and with some of their starters being out in the first quarter, how does Dustin McGee pull off the upset and repeat what happened 2 years ago here at CCS?
Well, the first thought for the players is just treat this like a playoff day. It's either we win or we go home. There's no other option to this. It's either you win and make the playoffs or you don't. So really just do what you can, get the offense going, play great defense against a hard offense to play against. But that's it.
Should be special. You see here on the field, senior night festivities in full swing in White House. We got a North matchup with huge playoff implications on the line. Colts and Eagles next on 8-Man Extreme. Colts just ran out of their banner onto the field and hyped up for senior night, knowing all of the implications tonight. As we mentioned earlier on Extreme Talk this Sunday, very clear cut. If you follow bracketology, it's kind of clear cut for me, but for everybody else around the league, here's how it shapes out. Christian Community wins tonight. They clinch the #1 seed. If the Ezell-Harding Eagles get the win here tonight on the road, and Christian Community wins against Lighthouse Christian School next week, it is a three-way coin toss for the TSI-AA North divisions.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you turn your attention to midfield for the introduction of the seniors, the captains, and the coin toss.
And the coin toss at the center of the field for captains for both teams. Tonight's contest, oh so crucial. You can't think of a better matchup to have on senior night either than a division rival. And for the Ezell-Harding Eagles, they're the ones who have to deal the upset here in White House.
Absolutely. This is a do or die situation. Like I said at the pregame show, there's no need for mistakes in this game for Ezell-Harding. They need to win it out with no problems.
So they flip the coin, and looks like Christian Community won the toss. And with the signal, it's actually Ezell-Harding has won the toss. They will elect to receive for the first half. So Ezell-Harding is going to get a first crack at it. Very much what they needed in a game like this.
Absolutely. First to strike usually means first to get on the board. Hopefully keep that up and play great defense so the opponent doesn't.
And time for the national anthem in stadium, as well as a pregame prayer.
Would you please join the athletes as we stand? Please remain standing for a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we do give you thanks. Thank you for a beautiful night. Thank you for this game, the game of football, and for these schools. Thank you for these young people and the hard work, the dedication, the effort of the coaches and the staff and the parents and grandparents and the people here to support and cheer them on. We pray for a safe game, a great competitive game tonight. We thank you most of all for Jesus and salvation in his name. And in that name we pray. Amen.
Kickoff set for 7:15 with the senior night festivities, and it is now time for the divisional matchup.
Hey, Colt fans, are you out there ready for some football?
The playoff bracket for the TSI-AA a little bit more clearly. Again, this is the last divisional matchup for the Eagles. Again, earlier this week it was confirmed that Franklin Classical forfeited their matchup, or more so, they chose to honor the results of the scrimmage instead of demanding a reschedule. So with that, Ezell-Harding sits at 2-1. Final divisional matchup tonight at chance to go 3-1 or 2-2. Christian Community, their final divisional matchup next week on the road against the Lighthouse Christian School Lions before they have a bye week heading into the playoffs. Christian Community, they wanted the #1 seed last year, didn't get it. Played against Lancaster Christian in the first round, and instead of that first round bye, they had a lot of things to worry about. And we didn't get a chance to say it off of the top, but we'll start here. Breast Cancer Awareness Month officially begins today. That's why you saw us wearing pink ribbons on the field. We're wearing pink clothing throughout the broadcast we have in October, including the playoffs. A little bit of whistling from the officials on the field. Having a discussion about the kickoff positioning. And signal for play from Whitecap Ronnie Perkins. And with the kick of the ball, we are underway in a White House. This is booted deep by Cornett, and we will have a return. This is attempted with a return by Elijah Donnell. The freshman gets it to about the 24-yard line, and we will see the Colts of Christian Community on defense to start out the night. I'll tell you what, this Ezell-Harding offense has had a lot of struggles going through the season between not having practice for their game leading up to Grace Baptist and just having a lot of players they've had to replace, but they've got stars on the offensive side of the ball in Cousins and Feisha and Paul Nix, and even Noah Preston has gotten in there on some plays. So this Ezell-Harding offense is dangerous when they get going. The big question is, can they get going on the road in White House? And they'll start out with their first offensive play of the game. This will be kept on the right side. And this ball is carried by Melvin Cousins to the 38-yard line. And a first down and 10 to start out the offensive drive.
And what a keep by Cousins as well. Read that play RPO very well and kept the ball and got a nice few yards in the first down on the first play. Great movement.
The Eagles march it already to midfield. And this Colts defense led by Coach Tommy Thornton, trying to prevent a major statement from being made on the road. Cousins under center. He's going to keep it up the middle, and he's met at the line by several players in coverage. And stopped at the line for no gain.
Absolutely. Defense is always ready, and this is the big problem here. They got to get past that defense. They're hard to get through. But as you saw in the first play, it's able.
Was Asher Nix, one of the Colts in coverage there. Cousins stopped at the line of scrimmage for a 2nd and 10. He's got some blockers on the left. Cousins trying to get past, and a flag is thrown. He's tackled from behind by Nix. And we have our first penalty of the game. And we'll get the word from Ronnie Perkins, his first time stepping on the field in uniform. He's having hip replacement surgery. So we'll get his first call since 2020.
Personal foul, face mask. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Ezell-Harding.
Lucky break for Ezell-Harding on that.
And just the break they needed just to get that first down. Let's just hope this doesn't hurt the Colts even more, because this is the one thing Ezell-Harding needs, and this is something the Colts do not.
The penalties can make or break the game when you get down to the fine, minute details of a divisional matchup like this. So now 1st and 10 on the 25. Cousins, first passing play of the game, and it's a reception. This one caught by Kalen Robinson, the sophomore, with a good reception. Gets a gain of about 6.
Great pass, great catch. Just an easy, simple curl play. Just enough to get enough yardage where you can possibly run it or do anything you like.
Just to let you all know, James Shannon is not with us tonight. Congratulations to him and Monica on starting the moving process to get into their own home next week. They are taking the night off. Also, James had some medical procedure earlier, staying off of his feet, as it looks like Ryan Taylor will keep on his feet up the middle and get a gain of about 2 yards there for Taylor. So it'll be my responsibility to give you guys scoring updates as we get them or when it is deemed appropriate. As we now have a 3rd down and 3. Cousins has got some blockers trying to find the space. Tries to spin through. I believe he's ruled just short of the 1st down.
Yep, just a tad bit shy. Good blocking, but not enough to get that 1st down.
He'll be short by about a yard. This deep in Colts territory, Ezell-Harding does not have a field goal kicker, so they will go for it. And only about 2 yards to gain. Likely they just give it to Cousins. And maybe even give it to Paul Nix to carry it up. Maybe even Kalen Robinson.
They got options for this offense. It's just who are you trusting? That's all it is. They have the offensive line. They should be blocking pretty well.
This drive has already taken down 4 minutes in the 1st quarter. That's Taylor in motion. Cousins gets through and flags fly, likely a false start.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
False start penalty. That's going to make it 4th down and 6 to go.
4th down and 6. What would have been an easy run up the middle for Cousins. Looked like he had the spacing, too, to get that 1st down. It's now 6 yards for this offense coordinated by Coach Dustin McGee to get through.
Eagles hoping for 1st down. Colts needing to make a defensive stand.
Potentially fake out of here as Cousins looking for the pass across the middle. Has got the reception and a spin move for the 1st down. How about Kalen Robinson inside the 10?
Kalen Robinson just not giving up on the play. He's doing whatever he can just to get in that goal line and just possibly for a touchdown.
Ezell-Harding, an unlucky break on a false start. A 1st and goal now on about the 7.
And that's how you answer to a penalty like that. Just keep your head up and go to the next play. Like I said, this is do or die for Ezell-Harding. Just move on.
The sophomore connection on that pass. Eagles marched it down the field and try to get a carry up the middle for Faisha. And gets a gain by maybe a yard.
I tell you what, that defensive line for Community is going to be tough to get through. They're right there as soon as you give your guy the ball.
Tackled by Asher Nix. It's going to be 2nd and goal.
Second and goal. Cousins keeping it, wrapped up by the Colts defense.
Nowhere to go.
And they roll the ball down by contact. Looks like maybe Will Adams came up with the ball. He's trying to make the argument for it, but ball on the ground, and it's now a 3rd down and goal from the 7.
And this right here is where you pull out a little tricky play, or maybe do a passing play, get this defense on their heels a little bit. Or might want to do enough just to get to the 1 and just get a little sneak in.
Seen about 2 passing plays from Ezell-Harding thus far that have resulted in 1st downs or more.
And
might see one here.
And they've been working, so I say keep it going.
Dead ball foul. Movement prior to the snap. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Second time we've seen a false start from the Ezell-Harding offense. Fortunately, it's not on a fourth down situation, but you've now got 3rd and goal from the 13.
So just some extra room for the passing game. Just try to fit that in if you can.
Moves
And
the Eagles back to the 13-yard line. 1st and goal.
Third and long on goal situation to the end zone. Touchdown! Reception by Kalen Robinson, and Ezell-Harding strikes first.
That's a touchdown.
and what a great catch. I mean, he basically got a one-handed catch, and then it went into 2. Asher Nix was so close. I don't know if anybody else caught it in the screen, but he was so close to catching the Cousins. The Cousins was able to get that ball off just right on time.
Got right past, and with that, a score to start off the game is from Ezell-Harding. They took up about 7 minutes on that drive.
And that's exactly what you want to do against this community team. Just take off what all you can.
Cousins, left side incomplete, pass intended for Ryan Taylor. 2-point conversion is no good. 6-0 to start off the contest. Ezell-Harding with about a 7-minute drive. It's leading the Colts. This ball will be booted away by Ezell-Harding's Ryan Carver, the sophomore, with an onside kick attempt, as it's immediately fallen on by Asher Nix. Time to get you some updates from scores around the teams we cover, including TSIAA crucial matchups. At the end of the first quarter, Providence Christian and Franklin Christian are tied at 8 points each. In the first quarter right now, the Memphis Nighthawks are tied with the Tennessee Heat at 6-all. In the first quarter, the Ezekiel Academy Knights lead the Evangel Lightning 7-0 right now. Or excuse me, 13-0 at the end of the first quarter. So Ezekiel leading, getting out with a close, a 2-touchdown lead right now, the Evangel Lightning. And here's a pass to the right side. I think this is to Gustafsson, and gets a gain of about 7 yards.
Yeah, that's the other player that I've been looking for, Gustafsson. He's been able to put work on those teams as well. He's kind of like the, I don't know what to tell, the sidekick to William Adams.
Maybe like a Splash Brothers complex.
Yeah.
As this handoff up the middle, carried by Will Adams, gets the first down and completes the usual average of Will Adams. He gets about 5 to 7 yards anytime he carries the ball. So just got the job done. Another new set of downs.
Absolutely. Just Will Adams just doing what I keep telling y'all he's going to do. Just run that ball up till he gets that first down or even more.
Gets him across midfield at about the 34-yard line, as this Colts offense has also had its struggles throughout 2021 campaign. Right on cue. The ball's still loose, and Ezell-Harding picks it up. This is taken back by Paul Nix. 12-0. Ezell-Harding got what they needed.
Absolutely. What a perfect time. Just lost concentration of the ball. Young freshman quarterback just losing it, and the guy picks it up and just runs it in for a score. Easy points for Ezell-Harding, just exactly what they need.
I hate the announcer's jinx on that, with saying the offense has had their struggles, and then right on cue, a missed snap and scoop and score. Paul Nix, the senior, with great awareness, chance to make it 14-0 in the first.
Seems like everything's going right for Ezell-Harding. Let's just hope it keeps up for them.
The Eagles go for
2-point conversion attempt for the Eagles after that incredible scoop and score. Up the middle is Ryan Taylor. 14-0, a quick start for the Ezell-Harding Eagles. Scoop and score leads to 14-0. Ezell-Harding just boots it deep this time, as this will bounce all the way into the end zone for a touchback. And we'll see if the Colts offense can give a response before this game gets too out of hand.
Hopefully their young quarterback can hold on to that ball and keep up with it. They're going to need him for this game to be active today.
The freshman Caden Poulin had a lot of big shoes to fill, being on the offensive side of Christian Community. I think last year he was just an 8th grader, and stepping into this starting quarterback role. And a lot of tasks that he's handled pretty well. And Will Adams has handled the ball pretty well too. How about him weaving through for a carry of about 6 yards to make it a 2nd and 4.
Also a great tackle by the young player. Just get his feet under him and get him out. Best way to tackle a big guy like that.
2nd down and 4 yards.
Would you maybe equate Will Adams to maybe a Derrick Henry complex in the league?
I don't know about. He more reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew. Now, some of you young people might not remember him, but as Tennessee Titans fans, we remember him.
Yeah, I remember that, as Will Adams is going to get the 1st down and over to the 40-yard line again. His average, just keeping that average anytime he touches the ball.
And you can just see when he runs that ball, he just doesn't look for his blocking. He just runs through it.
And looks like a timeout called by
Eagles.
Looks like a timeout called by Ezell-Harding with 3:15 left to go in the 1st quarter. Perfect time to remind you that the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, Modern Medicine the Old-Fashioned Way, and by Fairlife Core Power Protein. Work hard, recover harder. $14-0 is the score here with 3:15 left to go in the 1st. 11-8 is the score in Franklin as the Falcons lead over the Lions by 3. And it is tied at 6 between Lighthouse and Franklin Classical right now in Franklin as well. As Poulin is looking for the pass, he's going to opt to carry it. He'll get a gain of about 3 yards.
See, nice thinking by the young quarterback. Just if you ain't got it, just run it and get as many yards as you can and get out of bounds.
Out of bounds at the 31.
Gets a gain of 3 yards there. And the tough task for the freshman coming into this season, and he's definitely stepped up in the shoes that needed to be filled.
They don't need an amazing game out of him. They just need him to be a game manager to the point where he just does what he needs to do to get this win.
You think about it, he's only just a game manager at this point. Imagine how he'll develop going into the rest of the year. Will Adams for a carry of about 3 yards.
Adams again with a
Yeah,
carry.
as soon as he sees that little gap of little grass he can get there, he's just gonna set it off. He doesn't have any breaks.
4-yard line. It's going to be third down and 5 yards to go for the Colts.
Will I'd probably give it to Will Adams again on a 3rd down and 5.
Or might do a little play action. You never know.
Got options as they send out, I believe, Hudson Mortimer to the left. As it's mishandled again. Poulin picks up the ball this time, but the tackle for loss credited to Paul Nix.
Paul Nix again with a
Yeah, just the thing you don't need for the Colts. Just the missed snaps. Those are going to mess you up. As you can tell last week, Lancaster game, it cost them the whole game. So now you have to realize what to do from here.
The missed snaps were essentially the kryptonite for the Lancaster Knights. And now on a 4th down and 15, the Colts are settling for punting it away. They're pinned in their own 25-yard line. Nobody back deep to receive for the Eagles as booted away.
Torrin Gilbert with a good punt.
Gilbert with the punt, and Nix will touch it at the 20-yard line. And the Ezell-Harding offense will get back to work.
Let's see if they can do the same thing they did a couple drives ago. Just able to get that passing game, nice balance.
And again, that first drive by Ezell-Harding took a lot of time off of the clock. Talk about controlling the tempo. That's what Ezell-Harding's trying to do. And they're doing that already very well with a 14-0 lead.
They know what's in stake for this game, and the clock is your friend at this point, leading 14-0. Just do what you all can do to run that clock down.
Cousins looking for the pass. Right side, intended for Robinson, and incomplete.
Just a tad bit too high, maybe a little bit lower. He would have caught that.
Incomplete. It's going to be 2nd down and 10.
Second and 10. Cousins will keep it. Gets past the one man. He's got some space to the left side. Getting out. Collided with Wyatt Paget on the left side into the 35-yard line. The Eagles go for another set of downs.
And what a great play as they do the RPO again and just able to get through that defense this time, no problems.
Ray Beach knocking out of bounds. And the Eagles will get a 1-foot penalty, 1st down at their own 35.
Eagles offense in motion, and flags fly for
Dead ball foul, movement prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
move it back again. That's the 3rd false start penalty called against the Eagles tonight.
Hasn't hurt them quite yet, but keep them on the low now. You want less penalties as possible in order to keep this game where you want it.
Brings up a 1st and 15. Cousins, left side. He's got a gain of about 4 yards. So you mentioned it, Brendan. It hasn't quite hurt them at this point. On the penalties. It hasn't quite hurt them at this point, but now bringing up a 2nd and 11. Looks like we'll have one more play until the end of the 1st quarter.
It's not hurt them at this point, but there's still a full game ahead, so you never know. It could come back to bite you at any moment.
And about 10 seconds left on the game clock. And I believe they're just going to take this. They will take this down. That's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. After 12 minutes, they'll flip sides of the field. Ezell-Harding comes out swinging. 14-0 in White House, Tennessee.
The Eagles have it.
Started the second quarter. They flip sides of the field. The Eagles have it on their own 34-yard line as Cousins will hand it off. This is a carry by Noah Preston, trying to weave through the defense. Brought down for a big loss. Almost about 10 yards taken off of that play to bring up a 3rd and long.
And great roll by the defense just to keep him back there. And, of course, wait for backup as he came in with a good hit.
Kept weaving and weaving, trying to find an opening. He just could not get it done. How about some latest scoring updates for you, James? And correction, the Heat did not score. The Memphis Nighthawks 28, Heat 0. Ezekiel leads Evangel 20-0 right now in the second quarter. Lighthouse 12, Franklin Classical 6 in the second. And as this play goes on, Cousins will air it out to the left side. Just a step behind was Noah Preston. If he had caught that, would have been off to the end zone for the 3rd touchdown of the night.
Absolutely. Great play calling by this offense, keeping this defense on their heels. They don't know whether there's if they're going to run or pass the ball deep.
And how about this score, Brendan? Providence 16, Franklin Christian 11. Second quarter right now. It's going back and forth right now. And Coach Ferguson and company getting the job done so far. And if they can hold out that score, they punch their ticket to the Division I playoffs.
Of course, a lot of these teams know it's do or die out here. Today's games is big important.
This game is do or die for Ezell-Harding as the Colts defense forces them to a 4th and out for the first time tonight as it's touched at the 36-yard line. Let's see what the Colts offense can do as they try to march it down the field about another 30, 40 yards.
Well, hopefully they can keep the ball in their hands as the missed snaps have beaten them badly. You lost one for a fumble and touchdown, and you lost another one from yards.
Under 11 minutes in the second quarter. Again, the Eagles trying to control the tempo and run down the clock as much as possible. Their drives so far have taken up about 9 minutes of game time. As this handoff to Will Adams, he's got space. Will Adams finding on the outside. What a stiff arm. And finally stopped down at about the 44-yard line, 1 yard short of the first down.
And again, he reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew as he just ran through with that stiff arm he gave him. That was perfect.
Brings up a 2nd and 1.
shotgun.
Poulin will hand it off to Adams up the middle. Adams has got some space. How about a little bit more? Adams still after contact, pushing the pile all the way to the, he's still on his feet all the way down to the 16-yard line.
On the way.
He will not, and he cannot be stopped. Oh my goodness, just taking the whole team with him. Even his offensive line, you rarely see that. As you watch this replay right here, he just runs hard in that hole, doesn't stop, and then once the defense gets him, he's still going. He's not stopping. He's moving those feet, and he's trying to get that touchdown.
You could see his father, Dan Adams Jr., on the sideline get excited after that play. Happy to see his son with that. As he doesn't get the ball this time, it's Poulin. Has an immediate collision with two Ezell-Harding players. Initial contact made by Noah Preston, as this is carried for about 5-6 yards.
And great idea by Poulin just to keep that ball himself. He knew Adams runs hard, and all eyes are on him, so why not get himself a couple of run yards on this game?
Colts offense driving down the field for the first time. Definitely what they need as they're outside the 10-yard line. As they'll hand it off again. This time to Gustafsson trying to get through and get the first down. It's inside at about the 2-yard line as the Colts knocking on the door of their first score of the game.
And there's the other hard runner, Gustafsson. Don't get him wrong now. He might be small, but he still runs as big as Adams is.
First and goal on about the 2-yard line. Poulin up the middle for Gustafsson for the easy touchdown. The Colts are on the board for the first time tonight.
And that was a nice little walk-in for Gustafsson. As you watch this play, the trenches were won by the offensive line as they give him a big hole, and he just slides in there.
It's what this Jordan Flanders coordinated offense needed. And now a chance to make it a 6-point game.
And it looks like they got Gustafsson a little Wildcat game here.
They're just directly snap it to Gustafsson looking for the pass. Flag is thrown in the backside as it's intercepted. Obviously they can't run it back, as we'll get the word from Perkins.
Holding during the run. That penalty has been declined. The try is no good.
So holding called. Try no good. 14-6. The Colts get their first score on the board. Both teams held to no 2-point conversion on their first score. Set to be booed away by, looks like Will Adams.
Just another.
Or actually, no, correction. It's Cornett with the onside kick attempt as this goes down. Stopped at about the 31-yard line. There's a pile there, even though it looked clearly like it was recovered by Jalen Jackson. And brings it down to 8:35 with the onside kick. Successfully picked up by Ezell-Harding. Memphis Nighthawks 28, Tennessee Heat 7 in the second quarter, and Evangel is starting to fight back. They are down 20-8 against Ezekiel Academy. Again, that matchup, a lot of implications for the ACSC championship seedings in that contest. And Ezekiel has the upper hand right now in Montevallo.
Just as I thought they would.
Tim Smith fighting back with a vengeance. He's been down by several scores before. Saw that in the national championship last year. See if he can repeat the story As at least here, this is lobbed to Nix. Paul Nix trying to go forward and will have to take a yard loss.
Just community defense getting back to on point where they used to be. Now they're starting the run play. Let's see if they can stop the passing play if they add it on to Ezell-Harding.
Ezell-Harding's offense,
Second down.
1 for 1. March it down the field for a touchdown on the first drive, then forced to a 4th and out. Face a 2nd and 11 on the 29. And in motion, they'll hand it off, and the defense just read right through that play as the Eagles' fascia is surrounded by the Colts secondary.
We're just seeing the Colts defense getting it back together as the game goes by. They were a little rough in the beginning, but now they're getting it. They're understanding how Ezell-Harding is playing, and they're stopping everything now.
And Christian Community 2-0 in division play coming into tonight's contest. Victory against Classical, victory against South Haven just a few weeks ago. Cousins under pressure. He's looking, airs it out on the right side, looking for the pass. That's incomplete. Great coverage there by Mortimer, and it's incomplete.
Beautiful coverage, but also great defense just altogether, almost getting that pressure on them. And Mortimer is just in the right place.
And second consecutive time that the Eagles have been forced to a 4th and out. From the 26, just have it punted away by Ryder Carver. As timeout is called by the Ezell-Harding Eagles, their 2nd of the first half. Perfect time to remind you that the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by First Horizon, all things financial, and by Crutcher's Auto Repair, trusted by Franklin since 1980. Lighthouse 18 as this is punted away. We'll have a return attempt by Gustafsson with the return attempt as he takes it over to about the 38-yard line. Make that actually the 39. On the Colts side of the field, 16-8. Lighthouse leads over Franklin Classical. The Lancaster game just started at 7:30, so no updates there, other than Deuce Bragg is not in at quarterback for Lancaster Christian. It is Devon Hargrove starting for the Lancaster offense. You've been mentioning it all season, Brendan. It's if you don't protect your quarterback, lingering injuries come back up.
Yep, now you got to adjust your offense. You probably were thinking hard passing. Now you got to do something else.
As they give it to Adams. Will Adams forced to only about a 4-yard gain, but even as he was being pulled down, stretched out for the extra yardage. 2nd and 6.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you do to Will Adams. You can grab his jersey, you can pull his pants off. More than likely, he's just going to get the yards that he needs to.
One of the more tough players for the Colts. About 6 minutes until we get to the Iceberg Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling halftime report. We'll give you our thoughts and analysis of the first half, get you the latest scores from around the Southeast, the teams that we cover in 8-man football. It's coming up on the Iceberg Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling halftime report. 2nd and 6, you got movement. Which one jumped?
dead ball foul, encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, remains second down.
Second down and
Remember
2
the
yards to
interesting
go.
tidbit that I learned a few years ago?
CCS.
There is no offsides in high school football. It is encroachment only, or neutral zone infraction. 2nd and 3. Shovel pass in the backfield. Will Adams is going to push for the first down to the 28. The right person you want to give the ball to in that situation.
Absolutely.
One click
And it looked like, honestly, Burton's could have picked it up himself, but of course he knew his big boy Adams could give him even more yardage.
Got the latest update for you for the clash of the independent teams. At the end of the second quarter, or the start of the second quarter, Freedom leads 38-14 over Sacred Heart, and FCA leads 17-16 over Providence Christian. Close game there. Both teams very much know what is at stake down in Franklin. As that pass is completed on the left side to Mortimer, he's going to get the first down and a little bit more to about the 15. The Colts offense is now looking like the well-oiled machine we've seen them as.
They're just clicking, and like I said, they need to inherit that passing game in order for this running game to be successful. They're getting it in, they're getting their reps in, and they're getting that motion where they're an unstoppable offense.
New set of downs with a drive to start inside the red zone. Flanders trying to coordinate the offense. Trying to get some audibles called here. On a 1st and 10, toss left side. The catch is made. Mortimer is stuffed by the defense.
Hudson Mortimer with the catch.
They weren't tricked that time. Defense was ready for that one.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10.
Second and 10. Adams, left side. Will Adams has got some space, trying to get past the last man, and a touchdown-saving trip tackle there for Jalen Jackson. I believe short by a yard, a 3rd down and 1. First down saving tackle and a touchdown saving move by Jackson.
Absolutely. Coach is thanking Jackson so much for that one, of course. It could have been a tied-up game if they got that 2-point conversion as well.
Colts certainly trying to make it that way as they now have a 3rd down and 1 just outside the 5. Hand off to Adams. Dangerous to the left side. Will Adams to the goal line. Touchdown. Colts close to the equalizer.
Did you even have to wait for the refs to really give you that confirmation? You knew as soon as he got that ball, it was going to be a touchdown. You saw how he just bulldozed through that defense and his own offensive protection. He's not worried about it. He's just trying to get the score.
Both teams missed the first 2-point conversion attempt on their first touchdowns. Ezell-Harding made theirs on their second score. They send 2 men out to both sides. Leave Poulin alone. Toss to the end zone. 2-point conversion is good. The equalizer for Christian Community. 14 all with 3:15 left to go in the first half. We got ourselves a ball game in White House. Cornett looking to send it away. get it up, and this will be returned. Picked up at about the 14-yard line as Robinson stays on his feet, finally met by several Colts defenders. And then with the ball loose, it's picked up. This is being carried. Kalen Robinson! Ball awareness, and Kalen Robinson has got a kickoff return for a touchdown after the fumble recovery.
Just when you thought he was down, but he gave up that ball, and what a weird time to give up the ball. I mean, you don't expect it. See a guy right there, and Robinson was there to pick up that ball and just go.
You see those type of plays, and you know that's what this game is going to come down to, is just the minor adjustments, the minor mistakes happen. And that wasn't even necessarily a mistake. It was just Robinson was in the right place at the right time and had such great awareness. Now a chance to go up by 8.
Absolutely. Robinson with the beautiful awareness. That's what you want to see out of a coach. From a coach, just like, oh, just seeing your player just able to pick that ball up and go.
Two-point conversion attempt coming up. Time on the field. And the final timeout of the first half called by Ezell-Harding with 2:51 left to go in the quarter. Coach McGee thinking it over before this two-pointer attempt. Two-point conversion attempt coming up for the Eagles. They have no more timeouts remaining in the half. Cousins will keep it and practically untouched gets to the goal line. Make that 22-14, and Ezell-Harding twice they've had ball bounces go their way, and the Colts found the equalizer. They managed to get it back evenly. They're now down by 8.
They're going to have to do the same thing now, as that unbelievable touchdown really is. That rarely happens, but now Colts are going to have to do a lot of magic just to get back in this game.
It's halftime in Franklin. 17-16, the Falcons lead over the Lions. And second quarter getting closer and closer to halftime. Ezekiel 27, Evangel 8. Close scores tonight across all the teams we cover. Just expected when you get into October football. You know what's at stake with the playoffs and everything involved.
Well, October football is the real football. It's the real deal. This is when you getting, everybody knows what their schemes. Everybody is about healed up. Except for a few teams, but everybody else that's healthy, they're going to play hard.
It's got to be something with wearing the pink. I think it's got to be something with that between supporting Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this is a carry back to the right side, and that's up to about the 14-yard line. And
he carries it out to the 14.
And the Colts will get back to work.
And the Colts will have 2 minutes and 42 seconds to push the ball down the field.
I believe the Colts have not called any timeouts in this first half either, so they've got plenty of time and stoppages that they can use. Here's Poulin. Quick pass left side. The catch made, and still on his feet after contact. Takes several Ezell-Harding players to bring down the receiver, and believe that was Nix on the carry. Excuse me, Gustafsson got the carry.
Gustafsson is just showing us all. He can run, he can catch the ball. He's an all-around offensive player.
Gain of about 5 yards after contact. Brings up a 2nd and 5. There's a carry by Will Adams. He's going to get the first down and a little bit more after the collision. Got a few yards after that to about the 33-yard line.
You see Will Adams doing what he does best, finding that gap, just running through it and just gone. Getting that first down, and it's going to take a lot of defensive players to put him down.
1 quarter over, Lancaster and Zion tied at 0. No score yet there. Right, you can see the impact that Deuce Bragg has with him being out. Usually you'd see about 2 or 3 touchdowns to start off the game. Here's Gustafsson up the middle, and we'll get a gain of about 4.
I don't know if anybody else knows, but if you watch Gustafsson, he saw that one gap was completely closed, so he went to the second gap and got himself a few yards.
Found that spacing. Here he goes again, and he'll get stuffed by that Ezell-Harding defensive line, including, how about the big boy lineman for Ezell-Harding getting that tackle in. It's Bruce Bertrand, the junior.
Big boy Bruce Bertrand just doing what he needs to do as his nose tackle. I remember those games like that where it's big time. It's big time play. It's time for us to step up and do what we need to do. Close up that gap in the middle and stop that running play.
45 seconds left in the first half. The Colts driving down. They receive the ball to start out the second half, so this drive just as crucial. Mortimer to the left side will get a gain of only a yard, and it's 4th down. And Christian Community will use its first timeout of the half. You know, you have to think that Flanders has to go for it in this situation. To about 5-6 yards to gain. Put on your coach's cap for a second, Brendan. What's the play you're drawing up on the CCS sideline?
I'm thinking I'm going to try to give Will Adams the ball on a running play. I know it's a little odd and unusual, but he's been running hard, so why not give him the ball outside the field? Give him some space so he can run hard and probably get you a gain at least close to the 10.
Memphis Nighthawks 28, Tennessee Heat 13. So Tennessee Heat starting to climb back against the Memphis Nighthawks, keeping it close as we get close as the game winds down at the halftime intermission.
But can they close is the question.
Haven't seen that, unfortunately, from the Tennessee Heat this season. We've seen it in some situations, but a lot of times they've been down several scores as the Tennessee Heat fight back.
All right, football fans,
That's what the Christian Community has done at this point. They're fighting back, trying to keep it tied going into halftime.
Let them hear ya.
Tried to change the momentum. Poulin looking. Poulin's got the option, gets it out on the left side, incomplete. And there's a flag down in the backside as that was an attempt to catch from Asher Nix. Now, was this pass interference? That's the question. What are they calling here?
They're also calling defensive pass interference, but
waiting for the call from
Pass interference, defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
It's one of those bang-bang plays that you have to call in real time.
15 yards.
absolutely. But it's still great defensive coverage on the defense. I don't think it was defensive pass interference, but refs were closer. They know how it goes down the field.
McGee telling him he didn't agree with it either. Is Gustafsson up the middle. He's going to get the first down, and they will stop it for trying to get the first down, and
the Colts stop the clock. Timeout.
that's their second timeout with 15 seconds remaining. And now what was a potential 4th down situation with the incomplete. 15 seconds left to go, and Coach McGee now talking it over with Perkins. Asking about the pass interference call, more than likely. You can see on the camera there. Looks like a mostly just cordial conversation. It was a little bit heated earlier, but it shows from the MSOA they try to have things calm and poised. Some of the better things you see on the officiating side as 15 seconds remain. Inside the red zone of the Colts, maybe to get 2 plays off, and the pass to Adams is incomplete. Well, at least stops the clock for him and gives him another play, but brings up a 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10. Colts.
So 2nd and 10 is the Colts. Again, they receive the kickoff to start the second half. Score here gets the momentum in their favor. Poulin looking under pressure. Tries to get it up the middle, gets the reception there to Asher Nix, and great time management by Coach Flanders. Final timeout of the their third and final timeout of the first half. So now 1 play for the Colts to run. Can't tell if that's a flag on the far side. I think it's just a towel.
It's
no
just
flag
a
there.
towel.
Yeah.
And here I was honestly questioning Flanders why he didn't call any timeouts on the first couple of drives, but now it's like, oh, okay, I see what you did there, Flanders. Smart guy, smart guy.
May not have had any reason to really call those timeouts on the first few drives and could serve them all. 4 seconds, barring any defensive penalties. 4 seconds remain as the Colts try to get a score and the equalizing 2-point conversion.
And in this position of the field, it gets a little tougher to call a play. You don't want to call a pass in play because you're worried about the interception or turnover on downs, or you wasted too much time trying to figure out who to give it to. And the running play, well, that's when time just runs out.
3rd down, likely the final play. This is pass, complete, touchdown. As time expires, Asher Nix for 6.
Yep, you got to watch out for old Asher Nix. He's the height guy. He's the size guy. He's that Gronkowski for him as he just gives that little space and just sits there and just waits for the ball to come to him.
2 points. The separation right now as the Colts try to equalize it at 22 all, and what's already been a closely knit game has come down to small adjustments. 2-point conversion attempt. Poulin under pressure is going to be brought down, and to end the first half, the Colts head into the locker room down by 2 on senior night. 22-20, Ezell-Harding leads. The Iceberg Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling halftime report is coming up in a few moments. Welcome to the Iceberg Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling halftime report. 22-20, the Ezell-Harding Eagles lead over the Christian Community School Colts. Welcome again, everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Brendan Daniel, and one of the closer games we've gotten throughout the 8 weeks that we broadcasted so far, and really incredible stuff here from White House so far. And, the score reflects it. 1 2-point conversion miss for Christian Community. Ezell-Harding has just capitalized on not just ball mismanagement, but popped out fumbles that happened on that kickoff return. Incredible stuff from Ezell-Harding.
Absolutely, and I'm completely amazed, honestly. I didn't think they scored these many touchdowns as they did, but they're doing all the right things. They're capitalizing on the offensive plays that they can get done. They see the passing game is working, so they're using it more. Cousins is running like Michael Vick out here, and it's just working out perfectly for Ezell-Harding at the moment.
And I tell you what, for the Colts as well, it's, this is going to be some intense discussions in the halftime locker room just because of not just being down by 2, but how close that this game has had, the mismanagements and everything in between. How did the Colts get the job done and clinch the number 1 seed in the North?
Well, they just keep doing what they did in that second quarter. Just run that ball, and whenever you can, just get a couple of plays in. It's all on this young quarterback if he's able to keep that ball in his hands and not mishandle the snaps just like the first quarter.
I tell you what, Caden Poulin has got a lot of weight on his shoulders for sure. See the cheerleaders doing a celebration here for senior night at halftime. Lighthouse leads over Franklin Classical 18-6, and the Memphis Nighthawks 34 to the Heat 13, I believe, at halftime. Either that or in the second quarter. We're going to step aside about 8 minutes until we get back to this action in the second half here in the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week.
Brady.
Thank you for watching the Iceberg Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Halftime Report. Start of the third quarter in White House in what has been a close game with an onside kick attempt. The Colts get right on it at the 38-yard line. Close one there. Spencer Topset, Brendan Daniel, Executive Director Audrey Green, Jerry Shannon Jr. running the show from, at least running the field cam show from the sidelines nearest to us. Proud to be with you at May Flanders Field in White House, Tennessee at Christian Community School. Here's some scoring updates for you. At halftime, the Memphis Nighthawks lead 34-20. Southern Prep Academy leads 27-8 over Lafayette Christian at halftime. Ezekiel 27-16 and the second quarter. Evangel fighting back in that contest. Franklin Christian 24, Providence 16. So that game getting closer as we'll have an encroachment call on our first flag of the second half.
Dead ball foul, encroachment on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And a penalty will start the second half. Colts now first and 5 yards to go.
Penalties have been in favor of the Colts for the majority of the game thus far. Next on the offensive and defensive side is Will Adams trying to push through the pile. Does, and several yards after contact. Can this man be stopped? He's still pushing the pile. Will Adams for the touchdown.
And they even a little dance celebration. Oh my goodness, how amazing. I thought he was down. I'm looking in this pile right now in this replay, and they just let him go and let loose, and there he goes.
The secret sauce for the Colts right now is Will Adams, and you give the man the ball, he's going to score at some point or another. The Eagles did not wrap up a tackle, and just like that, the Colts got the lead by 4. And with that 2-point conversion attempt being missed at the end of the first half, this all that crucial incomplete pass intended for Hudson Mortimer. And just like that, 18 seconds in, the Colts already 26-22 lead. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. It's also sponsored by Crumble Cookies, enjoy to every last crumb, and by Iceberg Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, services for every season. .11:42, just 18 seconds in, and the Colts score and take the lead over Ezell-Harding. Again, remember the playoff scenarios we've been talking about. If Ezell-Harding wins and Lighthouse does not pull the upset against Christian Community next week, 3-1 for record for all. Seeding will come down to a coin toss in the TSIAA North. Ezell-Harding trying to punch their playoff berth as this is returned from the 7-yard line. This carry to the right side by Elijah Donnell. Trying to get past the defense, and he's forced down at the 5-yard line. You know, you talk about it, especially for Ezell-Harding with Lighthouse getting their win tonight, likely against Franklin Classical. It is, Ezell-Harding is not confirmed as the number 3 seed. Depends on what Lighthouse does tonight, and if they officially lose next week against the Christian Community School Colts. A lot of other things factoring in that. Halftime right now, Lancaster leads 7-0 over Zion Christian. Here goes 1st and 10. To the right side, looks like Cousins is going to be stopped back at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
And this is the worst field position you want to be in for Ezell-Harding at the moment, is you want to keep pushing that yards forwards and get out of this goal line situation, just in case you turn over the ball or anything.
1 yard gain. It's going to be 2nd down and 9. Ezell-Harding.
Gain of actually 2 yards on that carry by Cousins for 2nd and 8. They'll pitch it in the backfield behind the wall. Preston, looks like Noah Preston gets a gain of about 2 yards, and it brings up 3rd down with a flag down. Looks like this flag came from the near side of the play. Perkins discussing it over.
Holding during the run on the offense. That penalty's been declined. 3rd down.
Decline penalty. You know, interesting, because they could have enforced it back to about the goal line, essentially, or the 1 yard line. I guess they cared more about not giving an extra down to Ezell-Harding's offense.
Absolutely. You want to give them this 3rd and 5. It's easier to stop them than back up and get a second. You stop them here, then they're either going to punt or go for it.
It's 3rd down.
Right about a 3rd down and 6. Cousins looking for the pass, tries to get it to his man and Noah Preston, and that's incomplete. Now pinned deep in their own territory. We'll see the punt team come out for the Eagles.
Also a great defensive breakup by their corner, 24 right there. He was just right there and able to put his hand up at the right moment to disconfigure that ball where it's not a perfect throw.
Hudson Mortimer, the junior, on that coverage. Great awareness to make it, to keep it from being a pass interference as well.
4th down and 6 yards to go.
On a 4th and 6, Ezell-Harding will trust their defense, try and get a stop on this next offensive drive for the Colts. As booted away by Carver. And this will bounce inside, and it'll be picked up, and attempting the return is Gustafson. Gets the carry down to about the 27-yard line, and see the Colts offense get back to work.
Take over. 1st and 10, CCS.
And our officials tonight, Ronnie Perkins, the referee position. Erich McBroom at umpire. Linesman Howard Shamel, line judge Marlon Parker, back judge Quincy Engel, and clock operator Devontae McBroom. Officials keeping the game safe tonight, especially with this tightly knit divisional matchup. First time in division for both of these teams. Gustafson to the left side gets tripped up, a tackle for loss. Great effort by the defender, who's looks like he's limping a little bit after that tackle was made by Noah Preston.
Great tackle, and he's limping a little bit. And they're trying to ask him if he wants to come off the field, and he's like, no, but you don't want any injuries for his team right now.
Looks like Franklin Christian is starting to run away with it. They're leading 31-16 in the 3rd quarter over the Providence Lions. As this is carried by Will Adams up the middle. They wrapped up and tackled that time. It was Ryan Taylor on top of the pile. And a carry for about 3 or 4 yards. Brings up a 3rd down and 8.
And it's going to be 3rd down and 9 yards to go for the Colts.
Third down and 9. This drive not crucial for Ezell-Harding to get a stop on, but it'll at least help them. 3rd down and 8. Pressure on Poulin, looking for the pass. Chase him down and force him out of bounds. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and it brings up 4th down inside the 30.
Just the stop you need for Ezell-Harding. Now either you pump the ball for the Colts or You just make a good little field advantage for Ezell-Harding to make it tough on offense to score.
4th down and 10 yards to go for the Colts.
4th and 10, you know, you could try to punt them deep, but you don't really see that when you go past the 40-yard line in 8-man football, or even sometimes on these 80-yard width fields or 82 yards. Sometimes see a punt from the 35-yard line, but in this situation, you'll see Christian Community. Looks like they're going to go for it on a 4th and 10. Maybe try to get some more yardage just to give less of a good field advantage for the Colts. And this is a timeout by Coach Flanders. He'll think it over with 8:32 left to go in the 3rd. Special thank you to all 28 of you watching from wherever you are, including our executive director from afar, James Shannon, getting some rest at home. As Poulin on 4th and 10, looking for the pass across the middle, finds it diving. It's a 1st down. Great reception by Asher Nix, and that'll move the chains inside the red zone.
Just perfect play by Poulin. Like I said, game management is the key for Poulin, and the Colts will win this game. He held on just long enough to find his main guy, Nix, and now the 1st down.
From the 14-yard line, the Colts offense has new life as they lead by 4, trying to increase the lead by 10. See what Coach Flanders can cook up on this drive. Coach Flanders got his 50th overall win as a head coach last week. As this is carried by Adams. Will Adams trying to push the pile, still going. Goes to about the 3-yard line. And
Down to the 3-yard line.
a 1st and goal for Christian Community.
And that's another one.
And just give it back to Adams. He's just going to do exactly what he did there. Just run up the middle and take the whole team defense with him.
Didn't push it the entire way, but pretty close to it. Will Adams performing as well as he usually does. Latest for you from around league. The 3rd quarter, Lighthouse leads 30-6 over Franklin Classical. 31-22, Providence is fighting back against Franklin Christian. And Ezekiel 27, Evangel 22. A lot of comeback games being played across the region. Will Adams into the end zone for a touchdown. 10-point lead now for the Colts.
Like I said, give it to Adams and get out the way because he's about to score.
Will Adams, the 11th grader, the junior for Christian Community, might have a nod for player of the game if the Colts end up winning this, but you know, 3rd quarter, Brendan Daniel, official prediction for player of the game.
I mean, you read my mind.
Will Adams.
Was there any question? I mean, I would probably give it to Gustafson as well. He's been playing great.
And great catch by Asher Nix, as you're saying his name there. Got a 2-point conversion.
Is good.
And we have a flag on the play.
There's a flag.
8 points on that drive, and now the Colts lead 34.
Waiting for the call from Perkins.
Flag on the play.
He's discussing it with McGee. Well, you may not have seen it in the camera. It looked like Kalen Robinson was picking up the flag. He's trying to be helpful. His back judge saying, no, it's got to stay there. The sophomore was trying to be helpful. He's trying to help out with Ronnie, but it's not the Can't do that. Good preventative officiating.
Looks like a sideline warning.
Looks like just a sideline warning against Christian Community, I believe. And just not a penalty announcement on that, but 34-22. 12-point difference here in White House now as the Colts look to clinch the #1 seed and Ezell-Harding looking to clinch a playoff berth and potentially give themselves the #1 seed. Now Christian Community kick off from their own 30-yard line.
Bowen Cornett lines up to kick.
Colts offense slow to start out in tonight's game, but once they started getting it going in the latter half of the second quarter, now gone essentially on a 18-0 run as this ball will go back for a touchback.
And it's a touchback in the end zone. Eagles will start at their own 15.
Now this is a big offensive play for Ezell-Harding. It's either score or you're going to be struggling from here on out. And hopefully that defense can keep the Colts back from scoring.
On a 1st and 10. Eagles start off, and the ball is loose in the backfield, and the Colts have recovered it. A turnover, and that is Wyatt Paget who recovered it.
And the last thing you want from this Ezell-Harding offense is to fumble the ball. And now you're at the dude on your defense, back against the wall against this Colts offense who's been running the ball pretty well with Adams.
Correction, it's Beach who got the fumble recovery, and this is not the situation Ezell-Harding wanted at all. Of course, both sides have capitalized on a mishandled snap. So now the Colts chance to go up by 16. Excuse me, to go up by 18.
Adams in motion. Poulin takes the snap. He's looking to pass.
Poulin
Inside.
to the end zone. Adams, did he make the catch completed? Looking for the signal, touchdown.
It's complete.
And as you saw Poulin just directing his running back, watch. He knows he's open right there, but he wants them to go in, get that touchdown so he can be player of the game with a catch touchdown and 2 running touchdowns. But then again, you have to look at Poulin as a player of the game. He's been doing great since his couple of mishandles in the first couple quarters.
There's no fantasy football in the TSIAA, but I know that if we had some sort of draft, did some sort of fantasy league for that, Brendan Daniel would choose Will Adams immediately. That would be probably his first pick. First round pick. Scramble by Poulin, right side. The catch is made for the 2-point conversion. Asher Nix has made it 42-22. A 20-point lead. The Colts have come alive in the second half. The number 7 and number 23 seeds colliding here as it's booted away. Back to the end zone for a touchback. 20-point lead for the Colts. We'll see if Ezell-Harding can respond. Still plenty of time, and you wonder if it's lingering in the back of the coaching staff's mind for Ezell-Harding. Maybe we shouldn't have run down the clock so much in the first half.
Well, at the time, you were leading 14-0. You were hoping your offense to score again and hold the Colts to 0 points. But, of course, you can't always think that because the Colts are going to get themselves together after they've done, and now you're looking to get back in this game. So don't look at it as a mishap. Just learn for next game.
See what this Eagles offense can do. Cousins looking for the passes. Got an incompletion from Kalen Robinson, just right between his hands.
And that's the one guy he's been leaning on this passing plays to get it done, and now it's kind of hard pressing for him.
At the latest scores, Memphis Nighthawks 40, Tennessee Heat 27. The end of the third quarter, the Lighthouse Lions lead 30-12 against Franklin Classical, and Freedom Cowboys lead at halftime 55-26. We'll get you the other scoring update after this. Cousins looking, trying to motion for his man, tosses it, incomplete. There is a flag in the backfield. We'll have to see what the call is from Perkins.
Nearly intercepted.
Maybe on helmet-to-helmet contact.
Flag on the play.
See if it's a lucky break for the Eagles.
Personal foul, defense. 15 yards from the previous spot, first down, Ezell.
Didn't get clarification on what the personal foul was, but likely had something to do with the tackle of Cousins in the backfield and a lucky break for Ezell-Harding with a 1st and 10 on the 30. The other score going on, Providence Christian down 39-22 against Franklin Christian right now, so it looks like the Falcons are going to clinch the number 3 seed if that score holds out. Providence down by 17. They have to try to fight back. Cousins under pressure gets the pass off, and that's ruled incomplete. Second and 10.
That defensive line is getting to Cousins real fast. Offensive line is going to have to do more in order to keep him off the back.
Memphis Nighthawks score again, 46-27. Still in the third quarter. Here's a 2nd and 10 from the 30. Cousins, pass, caught. Left side, the first down, successful with Noah Preston, the junior, getting the reception.
The catch at midfield, tackled by Mosley.
Defense almost caught him, but not enough. And a great pass, a great first down by Evangel.
First down. Ezell-Harding.
First and 10 directly at midfield. With motion, double reversal. Left side, it's going to be Elijah Donnell. Gets a gain of about 5 yards.
That'll way pull a little trickery out your butt. Get the defense a little confused. Get them on their toes so they'll know who has the ball and get that a couple of yards in.
Gain of 5 on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 5. Eagles.
And a 2nd and 5 for Ezell-Harding. Again, in this situation, Eagles needing to, it's one of those drives where they need to score. Haven't been as successful on the onside kick attempt, so they have to hope for their defense to stand strong.
And it'll be tough seeing how Will Adams is running that ball.
On a 2nd and 5. Cousins looking for the pass across the middle, tried to needle and thread it to his target of Robinson. Nothing doing.
Sometimes you don't need to thread that needle. That could have possibly been an interception. Double coverage, that's scary.
high risk, high reward in that scenario, and brings up a 3rd and 10 for this Eagles offense as they look to shave the deficit, down by 20 right now. Ezell-Harding has not scored in the first half thus far. Looking to change that as Cousins looks across the middle, and the catch is made. Noah Preston inside the 3-yard line.
And he stopped before he gets to the end zone.
What a play. As you watch this replay, great pass, perfect catch. Almost had a breakup on the defensive play action, but not enough.
Not enough for Braden. Not really much Braden Thornton could do with the coverage there. It's just a good pass. Got the better of the sophomore there. It's now on the 1-yard line. Ezell-Harding trying to get the touchdown. Just knocking on the door of the goal line.
Run that ball in, Cousins.
Cousins tries to sneak it in, immediately met by the Colts defensive line. They were anticipating it, Brendan.
Hey, defense knows, hey, we know you're on our one, but we're going to still stop you no matter what. 50-50 usually plays like that.
That brings up a 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. Again, time is of the essence now. Trying to bring this down to a 12-point difference. Cousins is looking for the pass. Under pressure across the middle, incomplete. Pass intended for Robinson. And looks like a Colt player is down. And can't see who's down on the play for Christian Community, but training staff will attend to him, and we'll step aside for an injury timeout. Caleb Alton back on his feet. Just a little bit shaken up there after the play, and now back to business. Senior just a little bit shaken up on that play as the Eagles face now a 3rd down and goal.
3rd and goal. Eagles.
Cousins under center. Looks, he'll keep it himself, and Cousins trying to find the opening. He's stopped short of the goal line. Great defensive wall, and it's now 4th and goal on the 1.
Perfect defensive wall. Way to set up 2 guys just sitting there, just ready to block him out and able to stop him.
And you can see Cousins was thinking about going for the edge of the end zone towards the pylon. That crucial moment where he decided to go into the wall and thought he could push him, that's what cost him.
Yeah, sometimes you think you have the strength to push the guys forward, but against 2 guys, it's a little tough.
Football fans, it's 4th down.
4th and goal. Crucial stop needed for the Colts defense as Cousins tries to sneak it up the middle, looking for the signal. Touchdown.
That was a little close as one guy got behind him just at the right moment, but he was able to get that touchdown.
Make that now 42-28. as Ezell-Harding looks to make it a 12-point contest. Cousins under center with motion. Gets it back. It's to Paul Nix, and he'll be stopped behind the line of scrimmage. 42-28, it's a 14-point contest here in White House. Ezell-Harding gets their first touchdown of the second half. Fourth quarter, the Lighthouse Christian School Lions lead over Franklin Classical 30-18. Looks like Coach Sean Bell is going to get his second win as a head coach. As the Eagles look to get their third in-division win. And this will be returned to the left side as it's brought all the way to the 30-yard line. And the Colts offense will get back to work.
Out close to the 30. And they spot the ball at the 29. Colts will have it. First and 10, CCS.
Colts start out this offensive drive with a pitch to the right side, and the Ezell-Harding defense got the stop that they needed. Ryan Taylor, you can hear the coaching staff on that one, excited for Taylor.
As he should be. Just the kid just getting there where he needs to and stopping that run play.
Tight quarters up here in the CCS press box, but good view of the field, and loss of about 6 yards on the play for a 2nd and 16.
Second and long, CCS.
Colts on a 2nd and 15. Poulin gives it over to Adams, trying to chunk some yardage back, but the Eagles defense immediately meets him at the line of scrimmage for the 3rd and 15. Maybe a yard gain, but still 3rd and long.
It's just defensive line's ready. When they see Adams in, they know they're going to give him the ball and rush right up the middle. They're going to do the little stretch play or so to hit him on the side. So he's been doing great on that.
Ezell-Harding fans travel well up here to White House, not too far for drive from Nashville. As you can hear both sides encouraging their team here as we get into under 60 seconds in the third. Poulin under pressure, scrambles. He's got some space up the middle. He's not going to get the first down, but at least get some yardage back. Got about a 10-yard rush gain there for a 4th down and 6 coming up. And the Colts have a decision to make here. They're closer to midfield with about a 4th and 6, 4th and 5. And with 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter, there's a decision to make here.
Yeah, but Ezell-Harding hasn't been able to stop him on 4th down, so you might as well keep going for it. They're more than likely going to pull out another passing play. But we'll see what Poulin decides to do if there's nobody to pass to.
Poulin talking it over with Flanders. Trying to get the decision here, and I believe they're going to take some time to think about it as we head to the end of the third quarter. 12 minutes remain in this crucial divisional matchup. Ezell-Harding trying to punch their ticket to the state playoffs. Christian Community trying to punch their ticket to the first round bye. Back in a few moments on 8-Man Extreme. Start of the fourth quarter. 12 minutes remain in this TSIAA North Divisional matchup on October 1st, first day of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Spencer Thompson, Brendan Daniel, Executive Director for today, Audrey Green, Jerry Jr. running the camera on the sideline. Proud to be with you in White House, Tennessee. 4th and 5 coming up as the Colts look like they're going to go for it here on offense on their own 34-yard line. Waiting till the last second, maybe trying to get a hard count. As the time winds down, looks like that's what they're going to do. Yep, delay a game. They tried to get the hard count.
Dead ball foul. Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Ezell-Harding defense not shaking at all on that one. They knew exactly what was coming with no play attempted there. So now the Colts will send out the punt team on a 4th and 10. Latest update for you. I mentioned, of course, Lighthouse leading 30-18. Actually updated now. Lighthouse Christian leading 38-18 in the fourth quarter, as this punt is booted away to about the 22-yard line is where it'll go out of bounds. And Providence fighting back again, 39-28 in the fourth quarter. FCA leads by 11. Of course, Providence does not have a field goal kicker, so they'll need 2 touchdowns to take the lead.
It's going to be a hard 2 touchdown scoring right here, but if you can get it right here and then get the stop on defense on next run, you're back in this game.
I was talking about Providence on that, but you're absolutely right for Ezell-Harding. They got to score quickly, and they have to put the trust in their defense to get the job done.
29-yard punt by Gilbert.
As they'll have about
Take over at their own 22-yard line.
70 yards or so to drive down the field. Cousins is looking for the pass across the middle, tried to get it. It's incomplete. Pass intended there for Robinson.
Pass incomplete, 2nd and 10.
And they're bringing that, Colts are bringing in that pressure every time just to make it tough for him to pass that ball.
Again, the good news is with the incomplete pass, at least stops the clock. Time of the essence now. But 2nd and 10 for Cousins. Cousins looking for the pass again, trying to find a better option under pressure. Cousins looking, scrambles out, 2 tackles, gets finally tripped up. And I believe they'll credit that as a sack, or a loss of 2.
That's absolutely a sack. Come on now. Give the big boy some love. And he had somebody downfield, but he just couldn't keep his footing to where he could pass that ball off. But great awareness, great dodging, and just what you expect out of Cousins.
Haven't received many updates from Lancaster Christian and Zion Christian game. Lancaster leads 13-0 in the third quarter. And Franklin Christian got another touchdown, 46-28 over Providence. So it looks like the Falcons will clinch a number 3 seed. And Providence will be higher seed in the Division II playoffs. And flea flicker on the left side. The catch is made. Great reception at about the 31-yard line, about 2 yards short. And that was a reception by Cousins.
Ezell-Harding just pulling out trickery out their books, and that play worked just enough to give them a couple yards and not too difficult to get that first down.
2-yard gain. Of course, you go for it in this situation. Question is, you try the passing game because it hasn't been working on the previous plays. They got one off there. Do you just try a sneak with Cousins again? A lot of questions for Coach McGee to think about right now.
I think you just run that ball, try to run that ball. See what you can get out of that, and if turnover on downs, and just got to believe in your defense.
Cousins movement, possibly a false start.
Dead ball foul. Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
That is not what they needed.
Absolutely not. And now it's going to be even more difficult for them to get that first down, especially with this Colts defense being on point at the moment.
What was a 4th and 2 is now about a 4th and 7. Try and convert. That changes the whole dynamic because they could have just run it up the middle or on the outsides. And now a passing play not out of the question. 4th and 6, not 4th and 7. Cousins looking under pressure again, right side, tries to get the pass off, incomplete, intended for Preston. And the Colts force a turnover on downs.
Great play calling. Almost caught that ball just a little bit off his fingers.
And the game you guys are probably waiting for an update on. Ezekiel leads 34-22 over the Evangel Lightning in the 4th quarter. Ezekiel Knights have potentially clinched a spot in the state championship.
See, James was a non-believer. He really thought Evangel was going to win that one. But
they also go by point differential on the tiebreakers, so it'll depend on how those things shape out. Of course, there's a lot of in-conference games we played throughout the rest of the season, so it comes down to the wire. As Will Adams trying to prevent this from coming down to the wire as he gets wrapped up by his ankle down to the 25-yard line. And brings it for a 2nd and 8.
Name of the game for the Colts, run that clock. Don't pass the ball. Don't do anything else. Just run that clock down.
2nd and 9. Colts.
Here's a 2nd and 8. Fake it to Adams. Poulin airs it out towards the end zone to Nix, and in coverage, incomplete.
That was just great coverage, and Nix was almost open, just enough, but defense was just there to get his hands in.
Flanders didn't agree with it. You could hear him shouting from the sideline on there. Wanted a call, didn't get one. Brings up a 3rd and 8. We've seen several plays like that throughout the night where they've been very close on when those calls have been made. Of course, the officiating crew, they'll review the film after tonight's contest. They'll look it over on any improvements they need to make. It'll be the same for both of these teams. They'll look at the footage. As we have under 9 minutes left to go in regulation. Ezell-Harding needing a defensive stop here to keep themselves alive. Poulin fakes the handoff. He'll shovel it over to Adams. Will Adams is finally being brought down at about the line of scrimmage, down to about the 25-yard line.
Just getting back to the line of scrimmage, and like I said, just run that clock. That's all you need to do from Colts here on out.
Memphis Nighthawks lead 52-27 over the Tennessee Heat in the 4th quarter. Memphis Nighthawks running away with that game and trying to wrap things up. Leaving at Charlie Daniels Park is where that game is being played at. Look at the schedule. Tennessee Heat at Charlie Daniels Park for that contest. 4th and 8. potential last stand for this Ezell-Harding defense as Poulin looking for the pass is under pressure. Going to air it out towards the end zone. Wide open is Asher Nix for the touchdown.
That's not Asher Nix. That's 24.
Hudson Mortimer instead of Asher Nix. The junior gets the 6.
And the court just perfect. Usually I wouldn't say do the jump pass, but Putin got lucky on that one.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense, 5 yards from the previous spot, remains 4th down.
And what was a touchdown is wiped off of the board. The Colts thought they had the chance to wrap this game up. 6 points taken off the board, but now a 4th and 15.
Just the last thing you need for these Colts, but now you figure out here, do you do a play similar to like that, or do you just run the ball and just get that clock running?
And that's going to wrap it up essentially in Franklin, 53-28. The Falcons are going to clinch the number 3 seed. There's a timeout called by Christian Community with exactly 8 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. Colts think it over with 8 minutes remaining in the game. Exactly 8 minutes left to go in the 4th. Actually added the score incorrectly to Ezell-Harding on there. It's 42-28. As this is pitched in the backfield, a double verse, triple verse. It's a flea flicker. Poulin to the end zone, trying to break it up at the last second. What a well-executed play.
Like I said, he's going to pull some craziness out there. Look at this. Even I was lost. Look at this. Throwing the perfect, beautiful pass. Nice catch. Oh, my God. Amazing catch.
Gustafsson diving for the goal line. It is a touchdown officially ruled on the field, 48-28. The Colts may have just finalized the contest.
Gustafsson might have stole player of the game from Adams on that one.
2-point conversion attempt successful. Will Adams gets the catch. 22-point game now in White House. 50-28 as CCS looks to clinch the number 1 seed. 8 minutes away from doing so. And exactly what the Colts needed was a score. They got it. And with 7:48 left to go in tonight's contest, this is booted away. And this will go over to the end zone for a touchback. Ezell-Harding has a mountain to climb if they want to make it back in this one. Again, the name of the game is scoring quick and scoring early, and they haven't had as much success on onside kick attempts. They'll have to try to make some adjustments for that, as score now 50-28.
You want to play the no penalty game now, especially right now. You just want a nice, cool, easy drive on this one. It won't be easy, but at least make it easy on yourself.
50-28. Cousins, weight of the world on this man's shoulders right now. Is he looking for the pass, trying to find it, airs it out on the right side and swatted at the last second by the defender, Mortimer.
Mortimer just knowing how to play that defense on the passing. The Colts had trouble early against the passing game, but now they got it all figured out and stopping this game and just taking it home.
Attention fans, there's been a loss.
Southern Prep Academy, 54, Lafayette Christian 6, the final. Fourth quarter, Memphis Nighthawks 52, Tennessee Heat 35. Franklin Christian 60, Providence Christian 28. Games have been getting out of hand as we've gotten deeper into the night. Franklin Christian likely to go in to clinch that number 3 seed, especially after that tough loss to Lancaster Christian week prior. As Cousins looks across the middle, incomplete, pass intended for Kalen Robinson.
Pass intended for Robinson, incomplete. 3rd and 10.
What's been a close game up until about halfway through the third quarter is now one-sided. The Colts, they were in this situation similarly last year. They were the number 2 seed. They were trying to go for the number 1 seed against the Patriots. Could not get it done. And the Colts are going to likely give themselves a first-round bye with the way they are performing tonight. Unless Ezell-Harding can orchestrate a comeback here. Cousins with the scramble. Those are the kind of plays that they need to try and orchestrate it. Spun out a tackle, got down to about the 28-yard line to move the chains for a first down.
That's a good first little step for them, too. Just a little more yardage to get that touchdown.
And again, time of the essence here. It's one of these situations where you wonder why there's no sense of urgency from the Eagles. I mean, they've got 3 timeouts. They could make stoppages if they needed to.
7 minutes in the game.
Cousins. It's the passing game now. It's Cousins trying to weave past this defense. And scramble for Cousins. He's going to get the first down and a little bit more. Spinning out of the tackle and finally brought down at about the 32-yard line. Melvin Cousins keeping the Eagles at least within a reasonable chance against Christian Community's defense.
Absolutely, and he's trying to orchestrate a nice little passing game. He sees this guys and trying to get them open, but he sees green grass, so he's going to take his moment and run.
First and 10 with the clock still running. Cousins. He's got good coverage from his offensive line, but he's not got anyone open. He's going to have to air it out to the right side to Robinson. Gets the catch. Robinson trying to avoid the last tackle, and he's kept forced out of bounds inside the 10-yard line.
Just perfect as he dodges everybody and gets that ball right off, perfectly off. Great catch by Robinson and just able to get that first.
Tried to get the touchdown, which would have been a relief for them. 6 minutes left, and looks like he got stopped inbounds.
But again, now they got to move with a sense of urgency. They're not moving like they realize there's only 5 minutes left in this game.
First and goal.
Cousins. Toss left side, incomplete. Looked like a well-executed play. Noah Preston could have been in the end zone. Just wasn't looking for the ball.
Noah Preston has to be on high alert. If he's wide open like that, he's got to be ready for all balls.
And even with the clock stopped, Ezell-Harding burns a timeout. And it looked like Melvin Cousins was slow to get up. 5:40 left to go in regulation. Ezell-Harding had to burn one of their timeouts, or well, they incomplete pass. They didn't have to, but stops the clock. Latest scores for you: 41-22. Ezekiel leads over Evangel. End of the third quarter: Lancaster 13, Zion Christian 0. The final score: the first game to go final tonight, other than Southern Prep. First game to go final in Tennessee: Lighthouse Christian 38, Franklin Classical 18. Scramble, toss left side, incomplete. Pass intended for Elijah Donnell.
Either these offensive wide receivers are either going too fast or Cousins is going a little too slow on the passing route.
And the good news for Ezell-Harding, they do have a chance to get into the playoffs. Lighthouse got their victory. They won't officially clinch a playoff berth until Lighthouse, if they lose to Christian Community next week. It depends on tiebreakers with that. So nothing official as of now. Third down. Scramble here, right side. Cousins intended for Robinson, incomplete.
Pass intended for Robinson. It's incomplete. Fall short. 4th and goal.
4th and goal as Ezell-Harding. Not many options left to go with.
Absolutely not. This is the last try, honestly. This is it. If you can't score here, it's going to be tough from here on out. You're just going to have to look forward to next game.
You know, Ezell-Harding, they do have a bye week. After this contest, they conclude the regular season on the road at Jackson. Clyde with Sacred Heart. Christian Community, they're at Lighthouse next week before having a bye week prior to the start of the playoffs. 4th and goal. Last stand for Cousins. Gets tripped up from behind, and that is the nail in the coffin, the dagger in the heart.
And you kind of want to think, could Cousins run the ball himself and got the touchdown?
He wasn't tripped up. It looked like he had the space for it.
It's going to be 1st and 10, CCS.
And the name of the game for Christian Community, barring any defensive scoop and scores here, say just running out the clock, probably giving it to Adams every time, giving it to your backups, getting them reps. And a special thank you to all 29 of you watching. Hopefully you've got split screen games as Adams gets a carry for about 8 yards. Hopefully you're just like our boss from afar, James Shannon. Not too far from here, about 5-10 minutes from May Flanders Field. Watching the game on his couch right now, getting 3 different games going at once and giving us all the scoring updates. Speaking of which, it's final. Franklin Christian has the number 3 seed in the South, 60-28. And Ezekiel leads 41-30 over Evangel, so an 11-point game in Montevallo. 2nd and 1. It's likely the Colts trying to wind down as much time as possible as a run here. Carry to the left side. That's a first down, and that's
Off the left side.
Gustafsson carry and stop the clock temporarily for moving the chains, but
And they move the chains.
brings
That's
up a new set of
Junior
downs.
One-click realty. First down. Colts.
And, you know, for Ezell-Harding, they had a good start, 14-0 with the lead, but it just shows to, you know, the experience that Coach Flanders has at the 8-man level. You know, coming into tonight's game, 50-21 overall at the head coach position. You know, McGee at 20-18. So it just shows how the experience has paid off for the Colts, including with Tommy Thornton being on the defensive coordination side. So the experience has really paid off for the Colts here. As you see, a handoff, the Ezell defense gets the stop in the backfield, but experience has paid off for Christian Community.
Absolutely. And he just probably told his players at the beginning, hey, guys, don't freak out. It's still only the couple of quarters. There's nothing to really freak out about. The score is only 14-0. We can easily come back. And they sure enough did and took this win at ease and got their offense figured out.
Fourth quarter right now, the Memphis Nighthawks 58, Tennessee Heat 41. Be sure to stick around for the Fairlife Core Power Protein postgame show. We'll talk with Coach Jordan Flanders on his 51st victory as a head coach and how important this win is for him, and not just for him, but as the collective team effort. See which player he chooses for the extreme player of the game. Who's your final pick, Brendan? It's a tough decision as Poulin, across the middle, incomplete, intended for Asher Nix. But you know, you just had so many great guys performing on the other sides. I don't know if Flanders will choose more than one. We saw that from Coach Bell last week. But who's your final pick for player of the game?
I'm honestly going to go with Poulin. He was the key player to this game in order for them to win. I know Adams was more the X factor, but if Poulin would have got this offense going, got this passing game going, it was just going to be at ease for the running game, and Poulin has showed that.
It was an incomplete pass there. Now a third down, so the clock did stop. Ezell-Harding awaits, try and force CCS to a 4th and out here, but not much time for them to work with. Only 2 timeouts. As Poulin, right side with the pass, and says stop, and catch is made. You hear as Sam Garrett being cheered on by his teammates from the sideline. Now a 4th down and 7. Again, for Ezell-Harding, you know, they wanted to give themselves an opportunity to be a host team in the playoffs. They had that opportunity last year against, they were originally going to host Lighthouse Christian, had to forfeit the game due to COVID protocols. So now Ezell-Harding, they've got a tougher route heading to the state championship, where they'll travel on the road to Lancaster Christian, who's essentially locked that number 2 seed at this point. I believe most of the seeding scenarios will be locked after tonight's contest. Bracketology on Sunday with Extreme Talk. So we got no games going on tomorrow night. As this ball bounces and is touched by the Colts players there on the 22-yard line.
As a returner, you got to get out the way. That ball almost hit him.
And got close to him there as we'll see if Ezell-Harding, they'll likely get their backups cycled in. Know that the game is out of reach. And that'll wrap things up here from White House, Tennessee. No other games going final right now, at least not per our official scoring updates. An Ezekiel Evangel game looks like it's possibly coming down to the wire, an 11-point difference. Of course, Evangel does have a field goal kicker, so they could go for it. As the Eagles set up for this offensive drive. And movement, we have a penalty this late.
Dead ball foul, movement prior to the snap. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
false starts have been the Achilles heel for Ezell-Harding, it seems, this evening.
Absolutely. You saw that linebacker just creep up on him and give him a little foot jerk, and that's what scared the offensive line and made him jump. Nice little trickery play by the defense. We always have something up our butts.
First at 15. Couldn't get him that time. Cousins looking for the pass, finds it to Robinson across the middle, avoids the tackle. Good effort by Robinson, staying on his feet. Down to midfield, just short of the 40-yard line.
Perfect play calling, perfect execution. Here's that sense of urgency.
One-click realty, first down, Eagles.
And a little bit too, maybe too little, too late as they spike it down. Go for 135. Again, stick around for the post-game show. In the fourth quarter, Memphis Nighthawks 66, Tennessee Heat 41, so likely that game is going to be a victory for the Memphis Nighthawks. And Cousins looking for the pass. He's got pressure as he's had all night. Cousins is going to run it up the middle, get the first down and maybe a little bit more. Cousins to the left side, gets past the final man, trying to dive for the goal line. He'll get stopped at about the 2-yard line. As we do have a flag down on the backside. Looks like there is a Colts player injured. And Perkins talking with the lineman, James Hyman, having a discussion there. Looks like the Colts 52, Will Cowan, heading over to the sideline. That's a prime example there of preventative officiating. It looks like Ronnie Perkins talking it over with James Hyman about what to do, what not to do in that situation. Perkins just having the discussion there with him.
Coach Perkins doing work.
Yep. Coach and referee.
Personal foul, defense, unnecessary roughness, half the distance to the goal, first down. Oh.
And moved back. .118 left to go in the fourth quarter. Perkins talking over with McGee. Looks like they have to have more discussion here about the spot of the ball. Discussing it a lot over here. We're at least getting it back in our headsets.
Personal foul, offense. It's going to be 15 yards from the end of the run. First down, Ezell.
They corrected it there. That's why he was calling the ball back. They were making sure of who the personal foul was on. Good correction there by Perkins. Even this late in the game, making sure they're getting the right call. It's now a 1st and 10 on the 18-yard line is where they'll spot it. Wind on the signal and 1st and 10. It looks like Flanders will call a timeout. 1:11. It's Christian Community likely going to get their backup reps in again. The game out of reach at this point, but you know, Ezell-Harding, I'm sure you look at this loss and how tough they played against Christian Community, and you think about that game against Ezell-Harding had against Lancaster without their head coach and all the factors that went into it. That's likely going to be the first round matchup we'll see for the TSIAA playoffs. And a rematch there, it's hard to beat a team twice, and for Ezell-Harding to go back down to Smyrna to try and get the win. Lancaster has not had that positive of a history in the postseason. They've had good victories in the first round where they won against Christian Community last year. 2019, they won against Bowling Green Christian when they hosted them. But aside from the first round, once they get to that second round, they just can't really get past. But this may be their chance to do it, because if Lancaster wins, they'd face off against Christian Community in the semifinals.
And it's just going to the drawing board after this game. You just watch film, see what all you did good and see what all you did bad, and just fix all the issues. But then again, you got to worry about Will Adams in playoff mode.
First and 10 as Cousins looks for the pass, finds it, touchdown. Noah Preston for 6 points.
This was definitely needed earlier, as they've been struggling to pass the ball and catching as well. It's perfect as just a nice little corner pass and just a nice little walk in.
A 16-point game now. Chance for it to be 14. They're going to try an extra point here. Make it 15.
I get to see kicking?
I'll call this in the style of James Shannon. As you got Carver to kick. And 15-year-old snap, set, kick, no good. Low drive. 50-34. And to get you the updates, fourth quarter, 66-49. Memphis Nighthawks lead over the Tennessee Heat. Third quarter, Freedom 73, Sacred Heart 40. As that game gets into the third quarter. About 3 minutes and 52 seconds left. Well, and again, it's getting wrapped up here in White House. Again, stick around for the post-game show presented by Fairlife Core Power Protein. Talk with Coach Flanders, his player of the game. Wrap things up, including the wild night in 8-man football as we've seen around the region. And we'll have a Saturday off tomorrow evening with no games going on from the teams we cover. Saturday off, and then Extreme Talk on Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Be there or be square.
Or podcast it back. Listen back to the show. It's better live, but
50-34.
Carver, they're just opting to boot it deep instead of trying an onside kick. This goes down inside of the
puts it in the end zone. Colts will get it at their own 15.
Well, things wrapping up here in White House. It was a good game for the first 2.5 quarters. Then once the Christian Community offense started turning on the Jets, they just took control as they usually do. And a reason why the Christian Community dynasty is very much still alive. Don't have the excess amount of championships to show it in the state. National championship at 17, one state championship in 18 as they knee it down here. And I tell you, Brendan, it's amazing to witness a dynasty like this, especially what some would consider its prime. And question is, can the dynasty perform just as well going into the rest of the playoffs?
Well, it's all about if you young guys are going to buy into the system, buy into the dynasty and all this. That's all it is, just leaning on your young guys to see what all expected from here, and also recruiting all around for the coach.
Final score in Alabama, 41-30. Ezekiel Academy gets the victory over the Evangel Christian School Lightning. But here, the Colts have clinched the #1 seed in the North for the 4th time in the last 5 seasons they will have a first-round bye, and they will host either potentially Lancaster Christian, or they might have a rematch with Ezell-Harding in the playoffs, depending on how the rest of the bracket shapes up. That's your final score, 50-34. The Colts get it done against Ezell-Harding. We'll be back in a few moments for the Fairlife Core Power Protein post-game show.
When your workout ends, ours begins. Work hard, recover harder with Core Power. 26 grams of high-quality, complete protein.
Pick up some subscribers at Daddy Plan on YouTube. Plan on YouTube.
Welcome everybody to the Fairlife Core Power Protein post-game show. I'm joined with now his 51st win as a head coach and clinching the #1 seed in the North, Coach Jordan Flanders. What a game, close at halftime, leading by 4. What did you tell your guys in the halftime locker room to come out on that drive, get the touchdown, and take the control of this contest?
We just talked about, we had a lot of slip-ups in the first half, quarterback, instead of falling on the ball, we're trying to chase it, and then we stripped the ball on the kickoff, and that was just a great bounce that they got. So we didn't feel like we gave them our best hand in the first half, and it was still close. So just tighten things up, we didn't have any turnovers the second half, kept on running the ball, game plan worked, so that's what we thought.
And the 4th time in the last 5 seasons that the Colts have clinched the #1 seed in the North. Of course, last year you guys had last year you guys had the first-round game, had the loss against Lancaster. How important was it for you and the rest of this team to get that #1 seed and get the first-round bye?
Well, that's our team goal, #1. Win the division. We've been able to be very successful at that over the past, and so get that division, that gives us an extra week of rest. And so it was important to get it, for sure. For sure, you want to bounce back, but we're just happy with winning the title. It wouldn't matter where we're at in the playoffs. So.
And next week you face off against Lighthouse Christian School, your division rival there, and Coach Sean Bell now is starting a culture at Lighthouse. May not be for any playoff implications, but what are you telling your guys going into the regular season conclusion against Coach Bell and company?
Well, a lot like 2019, Lighthouse is, and our format or our fate is already set. But 2019, Lighthouse ended up beating us at their place, and so we're going to show a lot of respect to them this week. We'll prepare for them well. Coach Sean Bell's getting his culture and his system in place over there, and we're going to try to do our best to prepare for it. So.
Well, you've been on the post game before. You know the drill. Let's go ahead and introduce your Fairlife Core Power Protein player of the game and how proud you were of his performance tonight.
All right, player of the game here is going to be Will Adams. Yes,
all right, let's get the shirt on. Let's go ahead and get the shirt for Will Adams. An incredible game in the backfield for you, and just catching touchdown, rushing touchdown, just all-around touchdowns for you, Will Adams. How proud were you of your performance at tonight's game?
I felt like I did better than I have been driving my feet and stuff when I run.
Just simple as that.
Yes,
simple
sir.
as that. How proud were you of the rest of your guys, including your quarterback, Poulin, and the way he performed as well? How proud were you of the rest of this team?
I felt like the line blocked tonight the best they ever have, and they had to cover Jake more on the pass, so it left me with the middle open more.
And, of course, I saw in that rush you had on the left side, your dad was cheering you on from the sidelines. How meaningful is that to have your dad coaching you from the sidelines?
A lot.
Very meaningful.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got some protein chicks for you. I believe you already chose prior, so let's toss the chocolate, right?
I have to let somebody else chug. I cheeked some already. Asher.
He's getting extra nicks to chug it? Okay. Now, all right, well, you want to try the chugging contest? All right.
Sure.
All right.
Chug it. Chug.
Go ahead. Congratulations. Didn't know there was a splash zone involved. Congratulations, Will. Your Fairlife Core Power Protein player of the game. Oh, Brendan. You know, I was at volleyball the last weekend, and we had a camera guy get hit in the head by a volleyball. He's fine. Talked about the splash zone on that game. There's a splash zone there, but I'll tell you what, it's very much deserved by this Christian Community team for the dynasty that they have, the culture that Flanders has inspired. 51 wins, and his 51st win is crucial tonight.
Absolutely, and I'm sure he's excited for that #1 spot. It's a nice little week off break for the playoffs before it starts, and he'll be thinking about that from here on out.
And you combine that with they already have a bye week on October 15th, so 2 weeks of rest heading into that first-round game. It's going to be a lot of rest for the Colts. But for Ezell-Harding, not as much for them to be upset about because they could still, more than likely, they're going to be that #3 seed. We just have to look at the bracketology again, but more than likely, they will be the 3 seed, and they're likely having a rematch against Lancaster Christian. So It's one of the toughest situations for Ezell-Harding to take this loss, but there's still reason for them to hold their heads up high.
Absolutely. They have nothing to put their heads down for. They played great today, and I expect them to play great from here on out and probably get that 3rd seed as they head on towards the playoffs.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible to see. See the scoreboard is turned off in the background, and for those of you who remember the score, thank you. For those of you who don't remember the score, look at the scoreboard for the previous game. I apologize. We've 60 to 48, something like that. It was several touchdowns.
60, like 20, no, 30.
60 to 30,
Yeah.
something like
Something
that.
like
All right. All right, well, James will kill me for not remembering that score. Usually the scoreboard helps me out. But regardless, the Colts get it done. They are the #1 seed in the North, and the playoff bracket for the TSIAA shapes even more. For Brendan Daniel, for James Shannon watching from afar and probably yelling at me from the couch from afar, as well as Audrey Green upstairs running the show, Jerry Jr. on the other side of the camera, Spencer Tomset, congratulations to the Colts on the #1 seed, saying so long. Extreme Talk is on Sunday. We have Saturday off. Time for some Waffle House. Thank you for tuning in. Have a pleasant night.